What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is a brand new series which I talk about basically my personal team and what's going on. You may notice there's a bit of a background change because I might have said earlier my PC is perfectly fine. I think I've fixed it. More problems have arisen, so I'm now banned from, well, I've banned myself because I'm only making things worse. I'm letting it cool down, leaving it about 2 days, then I'll be back on it. But for now, I'm on my laptop, so I don't have much face cam. That's the reason why. Let's get on with this new series. An introduction to basically how my team is going. So as I said, there will be, a lack of face cam, let's put it like that. And if there is noise issues or something, I do apologise, but at the moment, I'm just without my PC, so, this will have to do. But, my team, how did it go last week? Well, game week 12 was a stinker. I had 16 points on my bench, and that was half of my total in general. You can see, got 32 points. My team did shite. Absolute shite. Aguero captaincy came back to bite me in the bum with like most other football managers, fancy players, sorry. Costa saved me. Chelsea boys all saved me. Hazard somehow got a bonus point, although he was good in the game. Couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. There are various players that did let me down though. Walker getting 0 was a letdown. Heaton getting 0 was a letdown. I did not see that 4-0 coming. I don't think many others did as well. But in general, the captaincy choice, as you see, I didn't really pick the best two. I thought the best two were Alonso and Costa. Surprisingly though, my best was actually on my bench. Kurtyoy got 10, and I got the wrong goalkeeper in the massive 6-point mid-table derby, which actually went rather one-sidedly. My team in the end got 32 points, and as far as my going on to the next week, it's a very, very interesting one for me because I've got a lot of decisions to make. Personally, I feel like Bournemouth won't do that well against Arsenal, but we're going to go from goalkeeper up and then talk about transfers at the end. We've got Heaton and we've got Foster. Foster away at Hull and Heaton home against Manchester City. Now, although might make quite a few saves, I don't trust it at the moment, so I am going to bring in Foster just for now. The 5 defenders I've got is Alonso, Walker, Peters, Koscielny and Amat, who, actually surprisingly, I did think he was going to be just, bench fodder. He actually played against Everton, although it was 1-1, he played. Interesting developments for a player that was, a decent price. Now all of a sudden he's back in, so who knows if he'll start playing again. But I'm leaving him on the bench now because I think Palace are a dangerous team. They can score in any game. They will also concede quite a few, so Swansea attackers is looking quite good. But the defence I've got, I think, is pretty good. The Watford game is an iffy one for Peters, but these two are also quite iffy. The defence in general is looking quite iffy. I think Koscielny I'll stick with. Peters I might have to stick with, and I'm getting just out of pure 6 clean sheets in a row. Alonso's going to have to stick. So if anyone's going to have to remove from the defence, it is Walker. Coutinho against Sunderland, it could be like 9 or 10,000 in that game. Gundogan didn't play. I don't know if he was injured or anything, but he did not play. So that's an interesting development. Maybe it's time to get off the Gundogan bandwagon. Who knows? Hazard also, I think he's a gem. I picked him at the start of the season, got rid of him for a bit when he went down in price. Picked him back up again when he's gone back up in price. Done good business with Hazard. Lukaku, Costa, and Aguero up top. Got Kurtyoy on the bench. Allen is suspended, so I do think I'll bring in Kurtyoy over anyone. And at the moment, it's looking like Walker. Now, here's my dilemma. That for me is the probably the best team I could pick. If anything, I'm going to have Amat there just in case I do think Chelsea will score. There's no point playing any of my chips. Going to save that team. As far as captaincy is concerned, at the moment it's Aguero. At the moment it is Aguero. But here's where my transfers lie, is that I'm not sure if having Aguero and just in general owning Sergio Aguero is going to be good. Because I was adamant this game week, I'll save him for this game week, see how he does, but he's really let himself down against Palace, and that was a good team to score against. Now, arguably coming up away against Burnley, but I thought exactly the same feelings I'm feeling now against Palace. I'll give him a chance. But do I give him a chance? That's the problem I'm going around. That's the problem I have. So, for now, I'm just going to run you over a few things I could do. Now, for me, if I'm going to make, I've got 2 transfers. I have to make at least one this week, and I will probably make one. The one I was going to make was either Heaton or Foster out and Butland in, but at the moment, the 4-0 between Burnley and West Brom has thrown it into balance. If it was been a Burnley win and a clean sheet, Foster would have been out. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm really not sure. But if Aguero was to come out, there's a few attackers I were to have, and as far as my watch list is concerned, it's full of players that were from last game week. But there are a few forwards I am keeping my eye on. Now, if you're going to go on form, this is something that I do like to look at. When seeing what players are good, Defoe is up there. We're going to ignore Aguero because obviously we're going to get rid of him. Costa we've already got. Defoe is what I'm looking at because he's a goal scorer. And the only problem is that it's sort of an on and off period coming up. They've got hard, potentially hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, easy. But they all potentially could be quite bad. Burnley away, you never know what you're going to get with Burnley at home. Watford at home, Watford are a dangerous team. Swansea, they always seem to score, and Siggy's looking in pretty good form. Leicester, it's a very, very tough game. And then all the fours, you're definitely seeing tough games in them. Spurs after that as well. Interesting for that. That's why I'm going over Defoe at the moment, although he is potentially playing for the future. Also going over Victor Anichebe. As much as he is banging in the goals at the moment, 3 goals and an assist in the past 2 game weeks. You've got to look at his previous Premier League seasons where he has failed to net more than 6 in one season. If he gets playing time, who knows what he could do. The world is his oyster. But I'm going on sheer the fact that he got 6 goals and 6 assists in his best ever season. That's not striking me as a long-term goal scorer. If he would have had like sort of 10, 15 goals, I might have risked it. But for now, Anichebe, although he will still be cheap, maybe in a few weeks' time, I'm going to bypass, even if it does mean losing out on 0.5 million, let's say, if it goes up and rockets up. Kane is a big one. Kane's a big one because A, he's a goal scorer, he's on penalties. B, he is Spurs' focal point. And have you seen in these last few games, you've got to look, 1 goal scored by Kane. 3 goals, 2 of them scored by Kane. And, it's simple to see Kane is a goal scorer. And he is going to get you points. He's also on penalties. Spurs seems to like getting them at the moment. I think it's 3 games in a row now. But the only problem with Kane is that he's got Chelsea, Man United within the next 3. But around them, you've got Swansea, Hull and Burnley. You can see them potentially getting a few goals past Harry Kane, getting 2 or more. They're guaranteed goal games. But do you take the risk on these 2 and let it slide? Now, my dilemma now, and I rattled off quite a bit, and I've probably gone well over time. My dilemma, and this is this: do I go with Kane against Chelsea, who I do think Chelsea will get a clean sheet? I think Spurs are in best of form. I do think Spurs' unbeaten run will come to an end. Do I bring Kane in, or do I let Aguero have another chance against another easy team? Because, to be fair, he's got a decent record against teams that are struggling. A goal against Sunderland, 2 goals against Stoke, 2 goals against Swansea, 2 goals against West Brom, a goal against Middlesbrough. Palace maybe was an off day. But I had the same feelings, like I said, the Burnley game's giving me the same feelings as Crystal Palace. I want to bring him out, but I'm going to not give him benefit of the doubt. That being said, though, if I don't bring Aguero out and I leave him for another week, then maybe bring Kane in, who do I bring in for him? Who do I place my free transfer on? First of all, I've got a lot of players there. I'm really looking at Joe Allen, who is definitely one to target. I'm thinking maybe, and this one is probably looking like the best of them. Now, if we go down to West Brom, my best bet is most probably going to be Mr. Phillips over here. He's having a blinding return for the previous few game weeks. So you've got to look at his games coming up. They are quite tough, but Hull and Watford could be good. Chelsea probably blank. Then Swansea and Manchester United could be games they get goals in. I think Matt Phillips will probably be the one I bring in. He's going to have actually we'll check that. He's probably going to have a lot of transfers coming in. This is one thing to look at. I'll give you one quick tip. I'll probably do a tip each week maybe. Transfers in, if he hasn't gone up this week, which I don't believe he has. Yeah, my screen is sore, so I'll keep on scrolling up and down. He hasn't. You can see, in general, that if you go on just all players, you see people that have risen. You can see him here. There's quite a few decent players. Van Dijk is definitely looking like a good bet. Also Matip, another clean sheet, or finally another clean sheet. But transfers in, you can see players that haven't got a transfer yet. Koscielny's now 6.6, helping me every penny. One of the most transferred in is Phillips, which means by the end of the week he could be getting a 0.1 up. Just something to keep a note on. There's other players you can keep tabs on. If you've got loads of transfers in, you're thinking they're going to have to go up at least 0.1 million, and that's usually the way it happens. But that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed. And yeah, let me know what you think about this series. I'll have it more structured this time, but you know, as I say, my PC is being a piece of shit to me. So at the moment, I'm really in limbo. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully, you've enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. And I was doing the the usual sign out as if the camera was pointed on me, but there was no camera. There's my OBS. Thank you all for watching, and peace.